Yo, 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 and welcome back to the Banter Boys podcast. My name is Sanji. With me is Draft Pie. How you doing, boy?
Welcome, welcome, welcome.
Yet another one. Yet
Well,
another one.
Nauru did it, so I thought I'm gonna have to do it. And Andrew has been telling us he's been practicing, so I thought I'd give it a go. I know Andrew's probably gonna outshine us, but I thought I'd give it a go.
Yeah, I think he might end up breaking the pod when he does that.
Yeah, yeah.
Welcome, welcome,
Can you
welcome.
imagine? All gas, no brakes. He's gonna kill it. He's gonna kill it.
Yeah. I'm struggling. I'm struggling to like laugh on the pod as well. Oh man, I'm in rough shape. I have no idea how I got that waiver pod out this morning. By the way,
You did so well. You did so well.
did you listen to it? Actually, was it
Yeah, yeah,
fine?
yeah. I listened to it. Yeah, it was good. It was really good. Um,
So sorry. Go ahead. Say what you're saying.
no, I was saying, you've been ill all weekend. You joined the voice channel. You dropped a sneaky little free agent and waiver pod this morning. Now we're doing this. It's like, oh
Yeah.
my god, if you're doing that when you're ill. God knows what you can do when you're not ill. So yeah, big
Yeah,
props to you,
man.
man, for the
Co-
content you deliver to everyone.
I mean, props to you guys as well, right? For those that don't know who DraftBuy is, he's one of our fabulous mods that we have in the Banter Boys Discord. I mean, listen, it's because I'm busy doing all the other crap that when I come back to the Discord, it's actually an organized place as well. Like there are people actually looking after our community. So props to you, man. I truly, truly appreciate everything you boys do.
Oh no, it's a good team effort. We've got like Andrew does all the tech stuff.
Yeah.
He's like scribbling away, doing little scripts, and he's added this, and added that. Naru's just like the god of advice. Anyone's got a
Yeah.
question, when people, oh, here's my tea, can you help me? I
Yeah.
struggle because like there's too many players.
Yeah.
Naru can always kind of break it down. He's brilliant.
Yeah.
I help run the Super League and stuff, and then
Yeah.
Tash. I don't know what does Tash
What
do.
does Tash do? We
What
have
does
no idea
Tash
what
do?
Tash does.
Tash and Ryan. I don't know. They need to step up the game. They're not really doing anything. But
I mean, Tash is an inside tracks rep, right? So we'll give him
yeah,
that.
yeah.
We'll
Fair
give him
enough.
that
Fair
credits.
enough.
Yeah, yeah.
Fair
So he
enough.
does
Fair enough.
some work.
Yeah, yeah. Once a year. Once a year.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. There you go. All right, listeners, welcome back to the Banter Boys podcast. So you're listening to the regular pod, which is the free version that we typically put out. So the pod that we were referring to, I guess a minute or so ago, was the waiver pod, which we only release on our Patreon. But I mean, you can access that for the low price of $1 a month. You can donate more if you want. It's up to you. But yeah, it's just something that we're piloting this season. It's the lowest price that I think it's ever gonna be. And a lot of people seem to love what we're doing there. So yeah, I mean, if you want more content or you just want to hear me or Ryan or any of the other boys that make appearances, just chat fan tracks picks, then that's definitely something you want to check out. But yeah, just to kind of remind you how these regular pods go is typically we have two halves. In the first half, we do a bit of a data dump where we look back at the previous scoring game week and just discuss the default scoring categories. And then we do a bit of a league update just to see how we're doing in our leagues, any moves that we're considering making, any roster concerns, and just kind of, bounce ideas off of each other for, waiver FA claims that we're making or we would have made, etc. And then we take our halftime pint. And then after that, we jump back in after the break with some questions from our Discord. Our lovely, lovely community that we've built out this season. I can't believe how well it's kind of grown, to be honest. Like every day, every week, somebody new is jumping in. And yeah, it's a great place to be. Other than that, what I guess I should do is, Ross, I'll get you to do the social plugs. So please do that right here.
Yeah, for sure. So you can message us on Twitter and Instagram. Our handles at BantaB. On Discord in the Draft PL channel, Banta Boys #6585. On Reddit, /Banta_Boys. You can listen to us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, SoundCloud, and YouTube, all under the name of Banta Boys.
Okay, so hopefully you've listened to Ross. If you're listening to us on Spotify, if you don't mind going to the main page, giving us a rating, 5 stars would really appreciate it. Because I think only like just over 30% of you guys have actually rated the pod. So if you don't mind taking a quick second to go give that a rating, we'd truly appreciate it. And if you're listening to us on YouTube as well, hit the follow button, the subscribe button, the thumbs up button as well. Feel free to leave a comment as well, any random comment if you want. I know H does a regular job at leaving comments, which we truly appreciate, and we notice them. So keep it up, guys. But yeah, other than that, Pi, do you want to talk about anything before we jump into the pod? Any interesting topics?
I could explain why I'm called Draft Pie.
Yeah, definitely. Go for it.
Yeah. So, actually, there is a question later on which deals with half of it. So, obviously, pi being the mathematical thing, I am kind of into numbers. I'll leave the rest of that to the question that comes later. But it's also part of my son's initials. So when he was a little baby, we used to call him Pi, and now he hates it. He hates being called Pi. So it's a little homage to him.
Yeah.
And then I thought of that recently when you had the call with you did a pod with Dutch Cowboy.
Yeah.
And you talked about on there about some of them, eventually maybe you're gonna, hand your teams over to your sons and stuff. So,
yeah.
I don't know, maybe my son one day will take over the Draft Pi account and my boy and your boy did a little podcast together.
That would be amazing. Honestly, that is the absolute goal, right? Even with the dynasty leagues and stuff like that, right? If you're, I mean, you're in a dynasty league, aren't you?
I am, yeah.
So he might be taking over that as well, and yeah, I mean, I would love the day that I'm able to like give my son the fantasy app and be like, here's your new addiction for life moving forward for the next 20 years.
Yeah. It's a gift and a curse. Well,
yeah. Yeah, exactly. But listen, that's how we ended up meeting. That's how I met all you guys. It's because of fan tracks, because of fantasy football. So there's definitely benefits to spending a lot of time in this space. But that's such a lovely story, man. Thank you for sharing that. Really appreciate it.
No worries.
All right. I guess let's just jump straight into the pod then.
Ay. Fantasy with the Banta Boys.
All right, so starting off with the data dump, we're looking back at Game Week 13. And just to kind of timestamp this as well, we're recording Monday evening because the game week starts Tuesday, ends Thursday. So yeah, it's quick turnaround. So if these numbers are slightly off, it's because of stat corrections and all that sort of bullshit that Fantrax does. But yeah, starting with key passes, the highest number recorded was 5 by Estupinan, and then 4 key passes by Saka, Szoboszlai, and Tielemans. Thoughts, by?
So Estupinan, first of all, actually, there's a one later on, accurate crosses, no corners.
Yeah,
he's also top of that with 6.
Yeah.
And you kind of look at it, and he got what 21 or something. I think they were all ghost points. He just smashed it, absolutely smashed it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Is he back? Should we go get him?
I looked
at that.
Yeah.
I knew this was coming up, so I looked at it, and actually, this is only his second time he's had a double digit. He's had 7 starts this season. It's only his second double digit.
Yeah.
And I'm wondering, is it just the Southampton effect? It's just the tactics they use against Southampton. I looked at his heat map, and he was basically playing as a left winger.
Yeah.
If you compare him with Lamptey on the other side, Lamptey's playing, his heat map is traditional kind of right wing back kind of role. Lamptey's playing as a left winger. Estupinan, sorry, is playing as a left winger.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It's worth a punt because we know what he can do. We know the highs and the ceiling he can reach. But he didn't do it the game before. I checked the game before his heat map, and it was much more kind of normal.
Yeah.
So I would temper expectations a bit, but if you had him this week, absolutely smashed it. 21 points. I think that's a great return.
Yeah, that's a great point about Southampton. You always have to like temper your expectations, right? Considering the opposition, etc. My other thought is like he's very injury prone, or we've seen that in the past as well. And who's to say Kadioglu doesn't come back and take that spot?
No, I agree. And Kadioglu hasn't really. I spent 30 odd fab, I think, on him in my home league. Yeah. But there's a reason they bought him. So he's an attacking fullback. New manager comes in. It's one of the first signings he makes. So he's looking to potentially at least rotate with Estupinan. So yeah, I would temper expectations with him. He's probably not going to hit these heights again, and he's going to have more competition when Ferdy's back and so on.
Yeah, I mean, listen, it's one of those situations as well because like Brighton's fixtures are pretty great for like the next 4 or 5, right? Fulham away, Leicester away, Crystal Palace at home, West Ham away, Brentford at home. And as an owner, I'd be like tempted to kind of hold him for those fixtures. But at the same time, if we're worried about that rotation, is it not also a bad idea to like maybe potentially trade him out on a high?
this is the sort of thing where you can, a package here. You can go right here. Estupinan on the back of a 20-pointer as a kicker could get you. If you're worried about, I don't know, if you say you got Morgan Gibbs-White, try and get rid of him. You put Estupinan in there with 20, because Morgan Gibbs-White is not going to get another 20 points anytime soon. It's too depressing. So you need to use his name, reputation, Estupinan, someone like Estupinan's recent form as a package there. Then maybe you can kind of you can solve that Morgan Gibbs-White problem. So a 2-for-1 package, him, Estupinan as a kicker. I think that's a great shout.
Yeah, awesome. Anything else about the other guys? I mean, they've seemed fairly standard. Well, at least Saka and Tielemans, like, they're kind of main creators of their team, set pieces, that sort of stuff. Let's talk about Szoboszlai. Is he reborn now? I mean, there's a question about it later on, but I thought he was one of the best players on the pitch against Man City.
I thought that was his best performance.
Yeah,
the whole time he's been here.
Yeah,
and is he reborn? The game before, he got 3 key passes in that game before, but that was Southampton. Not shading Southampton, but no, is he reborn? But this is the sort of, if this was Curtis Jones, and there was a lot of hype about Curtis Jones on the back of his 30-pointer recently, I never really bought into that. I'm a Liverpool fan, if people don't know, so I never really bought into it because Curtis Jones, I just knew he could not sustain that. He's just not that type of player. And actually, one of the reasons I think Curtis Jones is flourishing under Slot is the criticism we had of him was he held the ball too long. He was just took that 1 or 2 extra beats too long on the ball.
Yeah.
But Slot comes in and Slot wants that from his players. Slot wants control.
Yeah.
He's like, don't be so risky. Take a bit of time. So Jones is like the perfect player for him.
Yeah.
But he just does not have that creativity to maintain that ceiling. Szoboszlai historically does. If you look at what Szoboszlai has done for Hungary, he's one of the most creative outlets. So you're kind of like torn, and it's really difficult for me to judge it without my Liverpool hat on to go, I want him to be successful so much. The other side of it, I'm thinking, if you try to think of it logically, Slot's going in and he's gone, right, I'm going to be a little bit more cautious. I'm going to play it safe. Has that now bedded in a bit? We're kind of 12, 13, 14, 15 games into the season. It's been such a successful season so far for Liverpool. Is he now prepared to go, I can now take a few more risks? I can trust Gravenberch to sit there. In the first month, could we trust he could do it? But now, oh my God, he's a brilliant number 6. So maybe that one spot in the midfield, he's given a bit more creative license. So Szoboszlai might come into it. Elliott is one who might come into it, because I think actually out Elliott and Jones, Elliott is by far the more creative player. So Elliott's the one, actually, if he gets that start, he could pick up some KPs. So I don't know. I'm willing to take a punt that this could be a kind of resurgence for Szoboszlai, I think.
Yeah, and I mean, City are also on shit form, right? So you guys did play an easy team in a sense, like.
I mean, two relegation candidates in a row. So, easy run.
Exactly. All right. Next, we're gonna look at shots and how many were on target. So the highest number of shots attempted in Game Week 13 was 6 by Ruter from Brighton. He had 0 of them on target, and then 5 shots attempted by a few players here. Lindstrom, who had 1 of his 5 on target, he got substituted after 65 minutes. Palmer had 3 of his 5 shots on target, and Kevin Schade had 4 of his 5 shots on target, and he got substituted in the 69th minute. Thoughts, Pi?
Schade, what's going on? Can't believe it.
He was free in one of my FA pools, and that was when we were in the voice channel, and I was trying to decide on David Brooks and whatnot. I don't think any of us brought up the fact that like Schade was starting, or we wanted to spend time talking about it, because we know how much of a troll he can be and has been. So it's like I talked about it on the Waiver Pod as well. It's like I was pushing people, go get KLP, go get any Brentford attackers, because Brentford are great at home. They score a lot of goals, and that's exactly what they did. It's just we overlooked the other attacker that is a midfielder. But yeah,
I think loads of people did. He's free in my home league.
Yeah.
We've also got a Banter Bash league, which has got slightly different structure, but it means the free agent pool is shallower than normal.
Yeah.
He's free in Banter
Wait,
Bash.
he was free in the Bash League?
No one picked him up.
That's mental.
You're
24 managers as well, eh?
Yeah, you're desperate for players, I think I played Antonio.
That's crazy.
I did not think of getting Schade. Yeah. But actually, the one thing you think actually might be sustainable is on our Discord, we've got people who know in depth about their clubs, and a couple of guys who know about Brentford. One in particular says he played 2 up front. So Sade played as one of the 2 up front. So I think that's probably the first time he's done that. So if they keep doing that, particularly at home, because we know Brentford struggle away, but if they do it at home, then he could be an option going forward. The other thing that brings into play is Igor Thiago. If they're going to play 2 up front, then you could get Thiago playing alongside Wissa. And then Thiago could well be free in a lot of leagues. I know he's free in my home league, but it could be a pickup to think about. We all missed the boat on Sade. It's one of those things. You can't keep yourself for it. You just kind of go, because he's done that. I've picked him up loads of times.
Yeah, same.
Because there's been so much hype. You pick him up,
and does nothing.
Just doesn't do it for you. Just doesn't do it for you.
Yeah, absolutely crazy. Other than that, I mean, Palmer, usual biz, right? Great player. Lindstrom is a bit of a frustrating one. I think there would have been managers out there that would have punted on him with a lot of hope. I mean, yes, it wasn't like the easiest fixture or the most difficult fixture, I want to say at the same time, right? Coming up against Manchester United, but yeah, I don't know. It doesn't seem to be clicking for him, Fantrax wise.
It's just an Everton problem.
Yeah,
they just can't score goals.
That's
you've
true.
Got people like McNeil who's still ghosting pretty well, but they're so reliant on ghosts. You've got Njaya who's ghosting pretty well. He's getting 10, 14 points. Lindstrom, who goes pretty well, gets 8, 9, 10, but you can't sustain that without goals. So Everton struggle so much. And you kind of think if they got 1 or 2 goals, these guys would pop. McNeil would be on 20 points plus easily. But yeah, and if you look at the stats, you said 5 shots, but only 1 on target. That's symptomatic of the problem with Everton. They just cannot score. DCL dropped.
Yeah.
Beto.
Yeah.
Beto comes in. I was toying, but should I pick up Beto? I think it was in Bash, and I went with Decore. And again, Decore is kind of backs up this point of the problem is the goals. If you look at his run, if you look at his scores, he's kind of getting between 5 and 10.
Yeah.
But he gets 2 or 3 key passes every week.
Yeah.
Normally, if a player's getting 2 to 3 key passes, that kind of piques my interest. I'm like, I like him. I want to keep an eye on him. Key passes is the key stat I look for.
Yeah.
But he just gets key passes because he's never going to get an assist because he just cannot score goals.
Yeah.
So that's the problem. So Decore, he did all right. He got 7, but it's a problem. Maybe Dyke is starting to be on his last legs. Could he be the next manager to go? New manager coming in might, reinvigorate them, but we'll see. But yeah, it's a problem of if you pick an Everton attacking player, you're just relying on ghosts so much.
Yeah, great point. And then Ruter looked great this game. Thought he passed the eye test yet again. I think maybe managers were unfortunate not to get an attacking return because he hit the post or the crossbar, I think, as well.
Oh, did he?
Yeah, so yeah, I think he's a great player. I think he's like a Herzler guy or whatnot. I wouldn't be too stressed about it. If anything, I think I'd be quite positive seeing the fact that he took this many shots. So
yeah, I think him, the point you made there about him being one of Herzler's guys, I think that's it. When there's been injuries, he's played him instead of João Pedro in the middle.
Yeah.
He seems to be one of his go-to guys. And again, there's someone he bought in the summer, obviously with an eye to play him in a certain way. The only problem with Ruter is potentially rotation on that right-hand side. Minte, Dingra, Ferdy can play there.
Yeah.
But it's probably going to be a case that he's one of Herzler's guys, so Herzler's going to play him a lot.
Yeah. Cool. Next category, Aka crosses into the box. So we already kind of touched on him. The highest number was 6 by just one guy, Estupinan. So I don't think we need to really discuss it anymore. So we'll jump into the extra categories. So basically the outliers for each of them. So tackles 1, the highest number was 6 by 2 players, Munoz and Andre of Wolves, for those that want to know. Dispossessions of a high of 4 by a few players here. Delap, Dibbling, Doku during his sub appearance of 32 minutes. Cody Gakpo, Ouattara in his 25-minute sub appearance as well, got dispossessed 4 times. Tavernier and Zixi as well. Interceptions, there was a high of 5 by Tyler Adams and Kenny Tete. Clearances, there was a high of 13 by Jack Stevens. Successful dribbles, there was a high of 6 by Doku in his 32-minute cameo. Aerials, there was a high of 8 by Burgess, the Ipswich centre-back. And then block shots, there was a high of 3 by Colwell, Ben Davies, and Shea. Thoughts, Pi?
I think there's three players that's worth talking about for me. Firstly, Doku, 6 dribbles in 32 minutes. 18 dribbles per 90. That's crazy. Yeah, I sometimes I think you watch him and then you look at his Fantrax score and he gets all these dribbles. Other players, you think they're doing dribbles and you look at Fantrax scores and they don't.
Yeah.
I wonder if there's a certain dribbling style which Opta give the count as a dribble versus other ones. And I think Doku just fits into that style. However they judge a successful dribble, he fits in.
I want to say it's like a completed action after, but it can't be that because Doku does nothing after he dribbles past somebody.
Exactly. He kind of dribbles back again. So maybe that's what it is. He dribbles one way, then back again, and just back where he started.
It's such a great point. Like, it was so frustrating watching him. Like, he would like dribble past Trent, and I'm like, okay, you're gonna put the ball in. No, he cuts back and tries to dribble him again. Like, what? What's the point? Like,
and then you look at like someone like maybe a Salah on the other side who looks like actually his dribbling looks dangerous.
Yeah,
he doesn't really get a lot of dribbling points.
No,
so Doku is, I think, just one of those. It's just his style suits Fantrax. So he gets lots of points for it. But the key thing, especially as a Liverpool fan, what I'm glad to see. Okay, he got 6 dribbles. He's not on the KP list. He's not on the assist list. Exactly nothing really happened because of it. But he's always gonna have that floor of dribbles if you've got Doku.
I mean, speaking of like just Liverpool and how they dealt with Doku, I thought that was also one of Trent's best defensive performances for the season. Like, he just seemed to shut everything down that kind of came down his wing as well. It was very strange, unlike Trent, to be good defensively. But yeah, as a Liverpool fan, you must have been a bit pleased to see that, right? Given the Conor Bradley injury and stuff like that as well.
Yeah, I mean, generally speaking, I'd say Trent gets a little bit of a bad rap for his defending. You look at Kyle Walker, for instance.
Oh, dreadful.
Oh my God, just how many bad mistakes he makes. Even in the Euros, he kind of leaves his man. But he doesn't have this reputation as being a bad defender. But as soon as Trent makes a mistake, it blows up. Your WhatsApp group goes off, everyone's going off, and as soon as he makes a mistake, people can't wait for Trent to make a mistake. But even if he was a bad defender, you just kind of go, well, no one else can pass like him. No one else can do what he can do. But I think, on one-to-one, he's pretty good. And Slot, one of the things I like about Slot is I was quite anti-Slot. First of all, when he came in the summer, I really wanted Amorim, which I kind of don't want to admit now. Now he's gone to Man United. I hate that. But I've got a friend of mine is from Lisbon and sporting. For the last 2 years, he's just been sending me little YouTube clips of their post-match conferences, and he's quite a senior guy in his company. It's like a leadership masterclass. You have to watch this. It's like so he's got the personality to handle a big club like Liverpool, like Man United. So I wanted Amorim, and when Slot came in, I was thinking, I think I'm a bit underwhelmed by this, but he's done brilliant. But what I really, really like about him is that he makes adjustments during the game. His in-game adjustments are way better than Klopp. Way better than Klopp. At half-time, he'll do something, and he'll adjust the way we press. He'll adjust the shape we've got, and he changes, and you can see it happening. And he makes bold decisions. Look what he did at the weekend against Man City. Trent came off, and you brought on Quansah.
Yeah, I didn't expect
defender.
That. Yeah.
It's a big game. We're 2-0 up. It's a big game, and but he's he's a quiet guy, but he's got the guts to make those calls because he can see it. He can see what he needs to do. I love that performance at the weekend. Just 2-0 was a buzz. I was actually a little bit worried when we first agreed this schedule. So have we timestamped it? This is Monday night, and so we were going to do it. We were going to do it Sunday night. So I said, fine, we'll do it Sunday night. But I thought, oh my God, so if Liverpool lose to Man City, I'm going to be such a bad mood. Sanjay's going to be asking me, what do you think about his stupid hand? I'm like, I don't care. Pure one-word answers. No, just let me go to bed, get this day. But I'm buzzing. I'm on a high. The other names I want to talk about on this list, actually, Munoz.
Yeah.
Oh man, what a
finally
player.
scored.
So, he's just such a good all-round player. So this week he's in there as tackles. I can imagine some other week he's going to be in there for crosses. He might be in there for KPs. Any of these stats he could be on there, and it wouldn't surprise you. He's just got this all-round game. Obviously, he's wing back. He plays quite attacking, and he's the one I regret not going after. Really, I think I kind of bought into the little bit of the hype going on when Elise goes, Crystal Palace can't sustain it.
Yeah.
And that has been true.
Yeah.
But Munoz is the one who's just just maintain that level, absolutely maintain that level. I tried to do a trade in my home league a couple of weeks ago, Morg Gibbs White for Munaz. So close to getting over the line. I'm doing quite well. I'm towards the top end of the league. This other guy's struggling, and I kind of persuaded him. Look, Munaz has got a good floor, but Morg Gibbs White's got the ceiling. So
yeah,
in your situation, I think you should be aiming for ceiling.
Yeah,
I need to consolidate. I need floor.
Yeah.
Sales pitch for an hour, so every WhatsApp, and he's by the end of it, he's like, "Oh fuck it, you've convinced me. Let's see if I feel the same in the morning." But I should have done the deal right then. Every salesman knows you got to do the deal straight away.
Yeah.
In the morning, all right, mate, how you doing? How'd you feel about it? Radio silence
for
days and days and days.
Yeah.
And then now he drops 20 points, so I don't think that's going to happen. But but great player, great asset to have.
Yeah. And there's one more name you want to touch on, or?
Yeah, Burgess, and I think you touched on it on the pod earlier. He's got 8 aerials there.
Yeah.
And it's the Burgess versus O'Shea thing.
Yeah. It's like, which one's going to score? Like,
I don't know. What do you do?
Yeah. Yeah. It's quite
sure
frustrating.
As hell aren't going to roster both of them. Like, that's madness to roster both of them. So
I actually came up against both of them in my Dynasty League. It was terrible. Yeah. Man. So like that's kind of how I got like firsthand view of how they kind of shared the points this week. But yeah, just when you think O'Shea's back, he drops a stinker for managers that would have trusted him this game week, right? I think it was one of the assets that we were kind of debating as well on the voice channel that we kind of run on Discords before the big set of fixture kickoffs, etc. on like a Saturday. And I think maybe people were considering it, like ghost points, yeah, it's there, whatnot. But yeah, luckily I kind of benched him in the end, so I count my blessings.
I've got O'Shea in my Dynasty League. I've got him. My Dynasty League is a funny little format. It's quite cool actually. It's there's 20 managers. When we all have a club named after a club. So I'm Crystal Palace Eagles, for instance.
Yeah.
And the fixtures are real life fixtures. So whoever Crystal Palace play in real life is who I will
play. That's really cool.
So it kind of follows all that. I don't know what they're going to do when it comes to double game weeks and single blank game weeks, but we'll see. So it's cool. I've got O'Shea. And Emerson is the one I benched instead of O'Shea. For the last 2 weeks, I've been, man, Emerson scored, and so it's a struggle. It's you just don't know when these points are going to come. It's a bit random. Yeah,
I mean, it's what we always say as well, right? What is it? Judge the decision, not the outcome, or whatever. So I think on paper, like you see Emerson facing an absolutely informed Arsenal, it was a completely right decision, right? If that free kick is off by like a millimeter, that doesn't go in, and you're looking at a -3 score, whatever. Like they conceded 5 goals, right? So I still think you made the right decision. It was just off by like a few points. That was it, right?
Yeah, and and that is something that we do say in our Discord a lot. Judge the decision, not the outcome. And I think we all get het up about this, and we all kind of go, "Oh my god, I made the wrong call." But there's so much luck involved. I remember last season I had Reguilon, and he got red card after about 10 minutes or something.
That was the blank week or something. I remember.
He was on a wicked roll, and I lost because what can you do? You don't know. Someone's gonna get a red card. Someone's gonna non goal. It's like poker to me. Right? Poker. If you play poker, you play the odds, and in a certain situation, there is usually a best move to make. Now you don't always win with that best move. But in the long run, you will if you make that best move all the time. So you got to just throw it out there and let the universe decide what happens. It's luck after all.
Exactly. All right, cool. I mean, I don't know if there's anything else I really want to pick out. I guess like shout out to Tete. I think he's been in some fantastic form, the Fulham fullback.
Attacking wise as well, isn't he?
Yeah.
Assists and stuff as well.
Yeah. So he's doing absolute bits, man. And I think he should be available in most leagues right now. He's not too highly owned, but we touched on him on the waiver pod. So if you want a bit more discussion about that, definitely go check that out. So I think what we'll do now is move on to the next segment, which is the league updates. All right, Pi, I'll let you go first as our guest. So why don't you tell us how your Game Week 13 went?
Okay, I'm in 6 leagues, which is probably about 3 or 4 too many.
Yeah.
The last 3 or 4 years, I've got into this little cycle of, oh my god, I'm in 3 leagues. This is too many. I can't keep track. I'm going to drop one. I'm going to drop one definitely next season. And then the season finishes, and then nothing happens for a while. And then you get itchy fingers, and then the sign-ups can't happen. Oh, reply back to us if you want to sign up, and you kind of just go for it. You can't. You're an addict, aren't you? So you just got to kind of go for it. So, and every season I've just added one. Instead of taking one off, I've added one. So I've ended up with 6, but which means I kind of struggle to know who I've got. So I had to look up to go, what happened in my league? So IGL. But this week was my best week of the season. In my 6, I won 5, lost 1.
Oh, we timed this guest appearance perfectly.
I know. This is perfect for me. No, I've got 5 W's. Liverpool beat Man City. This is perfect. This is the standard. If you want me on again, it has to be a weekend like this. Otherwise, I'm not. So IGL, which is one I'm struggling in actually. So I'm up to 8th now, but I've been struggling in it. I won 90 to 79. And IGL is a funny one. If people aren't in IGL, it has actual relegation. And I've been in it 3 or 4 years, and I'm a proper yo-yo club. I get promoted, relegated, promoted, relegated, promoted, relegated. And they've got relegation playoffs. So if you're in the, I think, bottom 4, and then you get in the relegation playoffs with some people from the league below, and only one of you kind of stays up, it's really, really hard. If you're in the relegation playoffs, the chances are you're going to go down. So you have to try to avoid that. So I'm pleased with that win. My standout players this week were Gabmag from Arsenal, got me 22 points. Iwobi got me 17, and Eze back was, well, in fact, just looking at the scores, Eze being back won me the game. So he got 13 points, won me the game. Magalhaes is an interesting one. Got goal in assist first half, got punched in the face, went off. Good night out, done. And I think Arteta's pulled a little sneaky one. So he took him off at half time. I know in our Discord someone asked, what's going on? How comes he got taken off? And you're like, he got punched in the face, mate. Of course he's got concussion. He's got taken off, right? But then Arteta came in after the game and said, oh, it's because of his injury that he had before the game. That's why he took him off. And you know what Arteta's like with his little sneaky game.
I don't trust anything that man says, bro.
No, but if he says it's concussion, then he might not play the next game.
True.
So he's kind of going to go, oh, it's because of his calf or his toe or his finger.
Fair point.
Arteta's going to say whatever. So
So
normally, if someone gets punched in the head, goes off, you'd think they're probably not going to play the next game. But I wouldn't be surprised if he played this midweek. So look out for that. I had a move which nearly cost me the game. So I picked up Xerxes he's starting. Why not? What happens under Amorim? And then Lindstrom, who we talked about, I ended up playing Lindstrom instead of Xerxes. And I got myself in got myself in a corner. Ended up having to play Darwin off the bench because I had no starter, and then Xerxes sitting on my bench, with 24 points or whatever he got. And I was my God, I'm going to lose this, but I crept over the line. So, so he's an interesting one. I don't know. Is he going to keep his spot? There's just so much competition there, and there's lots of good vibes happening at Man United all of a sudden under Amorim.
I grabbed him in a couple of leagues, but those leagues I also have I want to say 4 or 5 forwards. So it's very much I expect the rotation. And I'm not banking on him being my forward 1, my forward 2. I'll start him when he gets the starts and if the fixture is good. Because he got the 2 goals, right? But 24.5 isn't great after 2 goals.
No. But the goals do count.
Yeah, the goals do count.
Sometimes people obsess too much about goals. It's like, are you going to strip off all of his other points?
Fair play. I mean, that's like Haaland, right? When he first came to the league, broke all the records, didn't score any ghost points whatsoever, but he got points. So good point. Yeah.
So we'll see. But that is my upfront is the big issue I've got in this league. I've got, I just don't have any starting forwards. My current forward lineup, I've got a lot of them. I've got Darwin Núñez, I've got Xerxes, I've got John Duran, I've got Igor Thiago, and I brought in this week forward 1 Jordan Ayew. So easily, that we're now Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, you could easily see none of them starting. None of them playing this midweek. So it's a big, all season it's been like this for me. And I don't know what to do. I need to just cull them, I need to drop them. But,
I mean, 2 of them are easy drops, I think, for me, Duran and Ayew. I'm not sure how long they'll last. I'm not expecting much, but one has a new manager, the other one, their team is like completely out of form. So maybe Emery needs to like change things up massively. Igor Thiago, I love. I got him in a league. He got 5 ghost points in his little cameo off the bench as well. Very, very promising. We love to see that. And I mean, listen, Liverpool player, obviously you have to own, right? And Zixi, like you mentioned, United are cooking. So you could be in worse positions.
Yeah, and actually this league is the one where I did manage to get rid of Morgan Gibbs-White. I did the Sanji trade.
Yeah.
Gibbs White for Kudos. When you announce it on the Discord, I've just got Gibbs White for Kudos over the line. I'm like, I'm going to try that little cheeky one. Let's see what happens. No, and it did it. You did it perfectly timed 2-3 weeks ago, just when that suspension really hits.
Yeah.
So my midfield is strong. I've got Eze and Kudos as my 1 and 2s in there.
Oh,
and
that is tasty.
So I just need one forward, really. I just need one forward to start. So I'm just throwing lots of shit at the wall, hoping something sticks with these players.
Yeah.
But an idea I've had this week, so I've got rid of Ayew, as I said, it's an easy drop, and I picked up Callum Wilson.
Love that.
Because of Isaac's injury. I know they're playing Liverpool.
Yeah. He's supposed to be fit, by the way. Apparently, he did an interview, and he's supposed to be fit for the Liverpool game.
Isaac?
Isaac. Yeah. So the injury was actually an impact injury as well. It wasn't muscular. So even right after the match, I think Eddie Howe was quite positive about the situation. But yeah, since then, like I've had like friends send like the tweet or whatever. I'll post it in the Discord. It must have gone posted already. But he should be fit. But again, I like the option, right? Because I don't know if they can just constantly roll out Isak, like just given his injury record and whatnot. Like they're probably going to want to protect him if they want to have any chance, I think, to get European football for next season. So, yeah, I mean, I don't mind it. Like the thing is, again, I don't see Ayew as being the starting forward. Slightly from a selfish perspective because I want Mavididi to get that spot as well. But I just feel like I don't know. Mavididi's too good to be benched for that team, but we have to see how things kind of unfold under Ruud van Nistelrooy, right? So
no, I mean I've got no long-term kind of strong feelings towards Ayew. That was literally a pickup this week.
Yeah,
I'm going to need someone to come in.
So
Isaac's fit. So you're telling me I've got 5 non-starting forwards. The move I've made to bring in a forward and solve that problem is not going to solve it.
It's probably not going to solve it.
Okay. Back to the drawing board.
Yeah. It's all right. I mean, listen, that's why you're in the Discord, right? These are dilemmas that we love discussing and love helping to fix, etc. So it's not going to be the end of the world by any means. Okay, so what about your DPL league? How did that go?
DPL, I won 112 to 91. DPL, I'm doing all right. I'm third. It's a really, really close league. So the guy who's top, I think, has got 10 wins. Second has got 8, and then probably down to 6th or 7th has got 7 wins. So there's 1 win separating loads of us. So
geez,
1 win you suddenly go up the table, and 1 loss you suddenly go down again. It's really good. It's really close league. It's really good fun. But yeah, my team's it's a lot less stressful than IGL.
Yeah.
IGL, I'm kind of scrambling around every week, and DPL, I feel like I can just pick players off my bench, and it's quite stable. Yeah. So my win this week, I relied on defender 1, Collins. What a legend! 18 points, assist, unbelievable.
Yeah.
Eze got double digits. Wood scored again, and Havertz double digits. So I've got a really kind of strong team who play a lot, if that makes any sense.
Yeah.
My forward line, I've got Havertz, Cunha, and Wood.
Oh
Collins,
my god!
And I had Fatawu and my forward 4 for ages. I just held him.
Jeez.
Because I had such a reliable forward line.
Yeah.
And I can kind of take a punt, so I've taken a punt on Igor Thiago.
Nice.
My forward 4 to go. I'm not relying on him to start at all. I can just stash him while the other 3 just do their thing. Especially Cunha recently. Oh my god, what a player!
Ledge.
So I've got no real concerns. I think my one big concern, I think, for my roster is not really a big concern. It's just you start kind of getting a bit fussy. But I've got Collins, but then I've got Robertson, Milenkovic, and Senesi. Now Senesi is just not the same Senesi as last season.
No.
So he's an easy drop. Milenkovic is starting to
fade, man.
well.
I'm tempted to like maybe package him with another player and try to trade him.
That's not a bad show. I've got him in every league. I think pretty much.
Yeah.
Got him everywhere. And you kind of think back now, is a lot of it reliant on Forest's good defensive record. You know, they've got a lot of clean sheets and so on. Now is probably the good time to try and package him whilst people have that memory of him as being like, you know, defender 2 or something. So yeah, that's the one area I need to try to kind of resolve. I've got Robertson as my defense 2. And for a long time, I know Robertson's been discussed a lot, but a long time I was thinking, oh my God, he's not performing.
Yeah.
But it's really interesting what Slot has done. You know, there was something in the summer where he said, he was in a press conference, how are you going to play 4-2-3-1, 4-3-3? And he described all the other positions in a way that we would, that makes sense in terms of what we've seen. You know, the wingers will do this and midfielders do this. But he said, with my fullbacks, I'll do different things in different matches. You kind of go, oh, what does that mean? Right. And then there's a clip of Robbo on, you know, CBS Sports do the Champions League thing with Mika Richards, Jamie Carragher, Thierry Henry. Right. So it's all banter. But Robbo was on it last week. And if you watch a clip of it, again, they're talking to him about what Slot asked you to do. And he said, it's been really good. It's been really refreshing. I'm learning new things because in some matches, I'm allowed to overlap. Some matches I underlap. Some matches I just have to sit back and defend.
Yeah.
Other matches I'm told to go bomb the box and I go in.
Yeah.
And so you just don't know what's going to happen with Liverpool fullbacks. You don't know. And I've kind of come to terms with that now. I've gone, right, I'm not expecting, and you can't judge it beforehand because Slot is very tactical. What's he going to plan for that game? And I'm just going, this might be a game where he's allowed to bomb on. Even if it's not, they've got such a good injury record. Defensive record. A good clean sheet chance. He was on sets. He was taking corners. Up until this week, he didn't take a single one. And McAllister got all of his ones, which is a little bit of a worry. But I've just reset my expectations for him. I've got, no, he's no longer my kind of 4-2. He's just, now if I drop him, who am I going to find who's got a chance to get me those 6 points for a clean sheet or got a chance to get me that assist that he might do from a corner? The value's just not there. You may as well just hold him at this point and just accept that he's going to be someone who might pop and might not. But yeah, it's Milankovic and Senesi is my defensive thing too that I want to try and resolve. What are your thoughts on Robbo? What do you think?
I mean, you've shared some great insight with respect to him, because I know earlier, maybe a few weeks ago, we had managers in our Discord as well that were kind of at their end with him, right? At the end of their tether, like they were frustrated, you know, the inconsistency of points, etc. But the way you kind of touched on it, I think you just need to be patient. Like the points will come in that sense, right? Liverpool have one of two of the best defenses in the league right now. So even if he wasn't to get a bunch of ghost points, let's say from corners, key passes, shots on target, whatever, he could still keep the clean sheet in that sense as well. He's still playing for a top team. Like there are ways options to have as well. Like, yeah, I think I don't know if I would stress too much about it, but again, if it's one of those scenarios where you are constantly second guessing yourself, and you are constantly concerned, even as the Liverpool fan yourself, then maybe just try and trade him out when he hits one of these high point games as well. Because the way it sounds, like he could easily, you know, let's say next 3-4 weeks, he'll go like 20, 10, 15, then like 7 with a clean sheet or something like that, right?
Exactly.
And it's either you take it as it comes, or just time the high and then just get rid of him and make it somebody else's concern.
Yeah, that's a good shout. You just wait for that next pop.
Yeah.
Wait for that pop and then sell him. But I'm just going to keep him. He's, you know,
he's a Liverpool player. Why would you not want to own a
How
Liverpool player?
sweet would it be?
Yeah.
If we win the league.
Yeah.
And then, you know, I want to have some Liverpool players in my squad.
Exactly.
You know, that's one of the reasons I went for, you know, in our Super League and the trade with Kudus and Van Dijk and stuff. I just want some Liverpool players. It's starting to look good.
Yeah. I mean, that's why I got like Cole Palmer for Holland in our Super League as well, right? It's just like I got to the point where, you know what, I just want to enjoy the games. I don't enjoy watching City, I'll tell you that much. So sorry, Alushi, if you got shafted on that trade. But listen, he loves his City players, regardless of whether they're injured or not. Like I think he picked up a injured KDB. I don't know if he still has him or something like that, but yeah, I got to the point where
Man City, isn't he? Of course.
Yeah, he is a City fan. So that's why the trade went through, right? So I got Palmer for our Super League, and I was quite chuffed with that. And Yeah, it's like you said as well. Like in terms of owning players from teams that are potentially going to win the title as well. I think this is probably the first ever season that I've ever owned Mo Salah in a draft league as well.
Really?
And I'm top of my league by like 3 wins easily, right? And it's a nice feeling, man, when you own some top players and you don't have to be like stressing every single game week about, oh shit, should I trade him? Should I, do something for this? Like, yeah, it's nice owning Liverpool players. I'm not gonna
Yeah,
lie.
yeah. I've got Mo Salah in home league. Oh, I love it, and I've had him 3, 4 times before in the past. And yeah, there's no stress. Just
Yeah,
no stress. He performed so well, obviously, but he's so injury proof.
yeah,
You know, he just, I don't know how he does it, but he just does not get niggles. He doesn't come off really. Even if he was benched, I'd probably play him because I'd rather have 20 minutes of Mo Salah than what, I don't know, Callum Wilson or something.
yeah.
It's going to
I
be
get
taken
that.
off at 60
Yeah,
minutes.
yeah, I get that.
Um,
Yeah,
so yeah, there's absolutely no stress. And even if you get to 18 minutes and he's on 3, 4 points, a goal is around the corner.
yeah,
Assist. He could do this thing. He can do it in any moment. He can just do it. So yeah, that's a great shout. That is another thing actually. I know often you end the pods to go. Any other thoughts? And a lot of people say, look, have fun with it. Have fun with it. And owning players you like is a big part of that for me.
yeah,
This is just a game at the end of the day.
yeah,
Lasts for 9 months, and there's so much luck involved.
yeah,
Obviously we all want to win, but it doesn't really matter. But just
yeah,
that pop you get when it's Salah scores and it
yeah.
helps Liverpool and it helps your team. It's just that it's a buzz. It's a buzz. So yeah, owning players you like is definitely advice I would give.
Yeah. I mean, the worst moment is summer, right? When there's no football to react to. So enjoy the lows with the highs is what I'd say.
Yeah, yeah.
So for me, my league updates. So IGL, yet another win. So we keep marching towards that
Yet
hopeful
another win.
title. Yeah, yet another win. Gotta put that in. I'm still upset that I threw away that one win while I was on that family vacation. I should still be undefeated in IGL, but it is what it is. I got lucky some other game week, so swings and roundabouts. The goods over there, Milenkovic with a clean sheet. Alex Iwobi, what an absolute ledge he has been all season. Nico Jackson doing things. Like I said, Salah, the Strand Larson brace. Shout out to my mods. We did the voice channel. I had you guys as a sounding board to either go with him or Sar. I mean, Sar did okay from a ghost point perspective, right? But nothing beats a brace. So we take that.
He's been so consistent, Strand Larson. And Sar did pop that week before, but yeah, Strand Larson. It's been a great signing.
Exactly. Regrets, nothing really. I took the Brooks punt. We were kind of talking about it again on the voice channel. It didn't make too much of a difference, but yeah, I mean, it's one of those situations where I could have gone with Shadow. But
I wanted to ask you, you mentioned it in the waiver pod this morning. You said, I went with the emotional punt of Brooks. Is that because of all the stuff that's happened to him? You kind of
a little bit
wanted,
yeah.
I get that.
I mean, the kid went through a lot, man. And even before he went through all of that, he at one point was a fantastic Fantrax asset for Bournemouth, right? So I was like, maybe I can time this redemption arc perfectly, right? So yeah, it was a bit of like, I like the player, I like the team, the fixture was fine. So you know what? Let me take a gamble. If there's any point I'm gonna take a gamble, let it be now, right? So I have no regrets at the end of the day. I think even if I'm pretty sure there was a league that maybe I lost a matchup because I went with him, but still, I have no regrets about it. Like, listen, we're all here to have fun, like you said, right? So,
and he could do it. You're not picking a random player. You're picking someone who's shown he can do it.
Exactly.
And, as you say, the dice didn't roll for you that day, so it's fine.
There you go. Ross Dickinson's. So I wrote in the notes, time to drop James Ward-Prowse. I did. I'll admit to all of my listeners, I finally ripped that band-aid off. So I need to get a mid 4. I forgot to update my my waiver moves here. Let me quickly pull it up right now. Because it's weird, because usually when we record, like the waivers don't clear until after we record in most leagues and stuff like that. So my waiver moves in IGL, I would have dropped James Ward-Prowse and gotten Zirkzee for 0 fab. And then I dropped Rodrigo Muniz and grabbed Tyler Adams. So right now I'm looking at using either Tyler Adams or David Brooks as my mid 4 right now. Just because of the structure of my team, it's always 3-4-3.
Yeah. And have you got high ceiling so if you have Tyler Adams, his floor, he'll get you, I don't know, 7 to 9.
Yeah, it's steady
fine
Eddie.
if you've got yeah.
Because okay, this is I go back to this is the team that I showed you guys in the Discord, and you guys were like, "Are you showing off with this team?"
Oh, yeah, that one.
Yeah, it's just ridiculously stacked, right? Because like my midfield, the other guys that are partnering either Brooks or Tyler Adams are Bowen, Iwobi, and McNeil. So it's like there's room for at least one average dude in that in that
exactly,
set,
exactly. At that point, you just want to pick someone who's gonna get you 90 minutes.
Yeah. And just get me close to 10 points. It doesn't have to cross 10. Just fill the gap in that sense, right? So that's why I kind of went for Adams. But like what I'm thinking about is maybe do I try and trade an Enzo in or a Damsgaard in or a Buonanotte in, right? Because like I've got the likes of Strand Larson, who yes, he's been very consistent. He finally went off in one of these, but now I've got Zirkzee as another forward. I've got Ismail Assar as another forward. I can afford to let go one of my decent forwards.
How many have you got?
5 in this one. So Nico Jackson, Salah, Ismail Assar, Zirkzee, and Strand Larson.
But is Enzo sustainable? Like, I don't understand where he's got his points from. He's not playing as a 10.
He's playing like a 10. Yeah, basically.
He is.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. He's playing like as one of the two 10s.
Alongside Palmer.
Yeah. So think of it like a 3-2-4-1 formation.
Okay, well that's interesting then.
Yeah. It's like, is Enzo available in mine?
I'm like, let me go check it. Can we pause a second?
You're more than welcome to make pickups while we pod. Like we've done that before.
Really noticed that.
So that's why I'm wondering is like I kind of want a fourth mid that has that upside in that sense, right? That's why I was so excited when James Ward-Prowse came into the league. I was like, oh my god, perfect midfield setup right now. But now that that's not worked out, it's like, okay, maybe I try and do some trades because in this league as well, I managed to get Joe Gomez as well. So, what if there's a Liverpool fan in my league that I could trade Joe Gomez plus one of the forwards that went off and package to get, a midfielder that could possibly be rotated. Like, I think ideal scenario right now is if Enzo is benched midweek and then I go try and target a trade in.
I think there's a danger you can over tinker.
Yeah.
What I'm thinking, right? So you've got, what is it? What's your record so far? You've lost only one?
That one must be like 12-1 now, I think.
Right, 12-1. Oh god, 12-1. So you're struggling. You need to make some moves, right?
Yeah, I'm bored, I'm itching for some
exactly,
moves.
This is what I think it is. I think we're all so used to making moves, thinking of trades, putting your waivers in. I don't think you need to. You've got Tyler Adams, midfield 4. That's the one you should just rotate around. See if you can find someone midfield 4 who can pop. Maybe Oscar Bob in January to go pick him up. Right? There's players that you could go pick up without sacrificing your depth forward. What happens if you get an injury crisis?
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden you're like, oh my god, I put all my eggs into Enzo, and now he's not playing number 10 anymore. Someone else is playing that, and then you're struggling. I don't think you need to. I think you need to just chill a bit. Just enjoy it. Just enjoy it. Your team's riding high. I had the same situation a few weeks ago in my home league. Really strong midfield. Everyone else struggled with midfield, and I did a trade of Iwobi and Damsgaard away and got Tarkowski in just before Damsgaard kind of got his running the team. And I look back and I go, and now I'm struggling for midfielders. I'm like, if I had those two, they could just sit there. Yeah. And I thought I wanted Tarkowski as my forward one. Sometimes you just need to ride it out and just resist that temptation to overtinker.
Yeah, I mean, listen, we're still like before a January transfer window, right? We could get a few gems that come in and maybe I'll be able to capitalize on that as well. So yeah, that's probably good advice. Maybe I should sit on my hands for a bit, enjoy while things are kind of going well and, not break it apart. Yeah, that's all advice.
I think we should do next week to go, any roster concerns? Nope. Any waiver pickups? Nope. My team is perfect.
It's going to be the quickest league update segment ever. Yeah. Next update was for DPL. Managed to get a win there somehow. DPL it's been the opposite form for me, like with you, because IGL has been going terribly for you. You're flying in DPL, complete opposite for me. My DPL form is same with Ryan as well. It's so inconsistent. Like 1 week it's a win, 1 week it's a loss. But yeah, let's celebrate the win while we have it. 109 to 107. The goods. Oh yeah, very close. Very, very close. The goods were Munoz, Damsgaard, Eze, Enzo, Iwobi, and Brennan Johnson. So happy that Eze is back. I think he was my first pick in this league as well. Man, he just scores points. And he looks so good when he plays. Like, Fantastic player, honestly.
I picked him. I've got him in 2 leagues. Picked him. I think, but certainly in one of those leagues, I picked him ahead of Foden. I think both of them I picked him ahead of Foden.
Yeah.
I think Foden might be coming up later, but yeah, just Foden. I just felt there was too much rotation risk, and Eze's just a 90-minute player, solid floor, and can pop. So, he can pop. So yeah, great shout that he's back. I was a little bit worried he started. I was like, as an Eze owner, I was like, just let him come off the bench. Just, give him half an hour, just ease him in. But no injury news, so it's all good. It's looking good.
Yeah, well, let's hope for a haul tomorrow night as well.
Yeah.
In terms of roster concerns, I don't think I had any concerns given the win and whatnot. So I need to also check what my waiver moves were there as well. So I think I might have made, how many moves I made? I think I made 3 moves. So I dropped Nelson Semedo, who I think picked up his 5th yellow card. So he was missing for this game. I don't think anyone's gonna like really rush to get him as well. Even though he scored a heroic positive 3 points, including a yellow card with the 4 goals conceded. I mean 3 if you're doing with the new scoring updates and all that sort of stuff, right? But I dropped him for Xerxes as well. I got Xerxes, I think, for 6 fab. Might have overspent by a few fab, but let's see how it goes. I dropped Ross Barkley here. I was a little hesitant about it just because I think he has the potential to start. But again, I had enough midfielders that I thought, you know what, let me just roll the dice because there should be another waiver wire clearing, I think, tomorrow as well. So if there was any news in the pressers and he becomes an FA, I'll just swap him out. But basically, I dropped him for Igor Thiago because I saw those 5 points. I was like, all right, you know what? Let me jump on that boat immediately. I've got enough forwards. I can afford to stash him. And then the other swap that I made here was I dropped David Brooks and grabbed Lacroix. The reason being is because I dropped Semedo. I think I'm only rolling 3 defenders in this league, so I need another one. It seemed like the best fixture on paper against Ipswich, and he's ghosting well last couple of games. So I thought, let me just make that switch one time.
He was ghosting really well for ages.
Yeah.
And he had a dip, but I think certainly last week, maybe the week before, he's come back again, I think. So he's one I tried to get actually in Super.
And IRL, he just looks great as a player, I think. Yeah. So those are my updates. So I think what we'll do now is take our halftime pint and we will be back after the break with some questions. So we'll see you in a bit. And we are back. What beverage are you having tonight, by the way?
It's a Moretti.
What a classic.
It's all that was in the fridge. In our beers channel, beers, 3 days, in our Discord channel, everyone's always posting these amazing cans, and every time I see it, I think, I need to add that to the shopping list and get one, and then I completely forget. I never do it, I forget. But that's all I've got in the fridge. But it's nice enough beer.
Yeah, I've got this weird habit as well, like because like my brother-in-law is the one that kind of introduced me to IPAs and stuff like that, right? And like now like I probably got a love for it and stuff like that. So he's always like buying these funky cans. Honestly, I would say 90% of the cans that I post are basically cans that he's shared with me or given to me. I've gotten into this weird habit because, I mean, obviously once he pours the beer, he just kind of chucks it into the recycling. So I always got to tell him, wait.
You've been diving.
Yeah. I was like, wait. Don't throw it out. Let me take a picture first and then you can throw it out. Otherwise, I'm like constantly going into the bin to take a picture and it's like, yeah, dirty little secret, guys. But anyways.
So I've got a similar-ish kind of thing where, because we will post pictures of beers and stuff. And so when I'm out with my family and then I take a little picture of the beer. And at first, my wife's like, what are you doing? Right, but now she's like, you're going to share it with your internet geeky friends.
I love that. Yes. All right. We've got some questions, so let's dive straight in. So first question up is from one of our mods, Mr. Nauru. His question is this season's Foden last season's Rashford? First round pick after a really good previous season, then becomes poor.
I'm glad he clarified that because I didn't understand the question. What's he on about? Is this one of his Nauru questions? He's got a reputation. But I think the short answer is yes. I think Foden is is not going to deliver a round one value. I mean, like I said, I skipped Foden for Eze in a couple of leagues. One, because I thought there's always going to be always rotation issues at City. And secondly, if you look at he had a big spike last year.
Yeah.
And you could interpret that two different ways. You could go, that's his breakthrough, and that's it. He's now found his next level.
Yeah.
And he's always going to be this high level going forward. Or you could go, that's a bit of an outlier. And for me, that just felt like a risk to go, is this last year's level the level he's going to perform this year, knowing that no matter what happens, there's always going to be rotation.
Yeah.
So I went for the safer option of someone like Eze, and I think,
no regrets.
I'm absolutely no regrets at all. No regrets at all.
Yeah.
I think yes is the answer to that. When I saw this question, I thought what would be an interesting one is to go, could we predict who would be next year's last season's Rashford and this season's Foden?
Yeah.
Like, who's doing well now, who might end up being a round one pick the next year, but is going to flop. So I'm going to have a quick look to see who the top
so like one of the reasons why I never bothered going with Foden, and shout out to Robbie P for this, he kind of was like mentioning this quite a lot, is the overperformance on Foden's XG from last season as well.
Yeah.
He was just scoring some ridiculous bangers, right? If you could call that. And I mean, eventually, like, the variance kind of has to go the other way as well, right? And yeah, I just thought it's the same thing that you said. You're expecting that drop off the next season. You'd expect things to kind of normalize in that sense. And it's the same way like the Premier League used to be before Pep showed up with this domination, is that typically the team that won the Premier League, the next season, they always were shit, or they kind of dropped off a slight bit. And that's kind of how I always used to see Fantrax assets as well, or fantasy assets. I mean, obviously, there are some consistent monsters and stuff like that, right? I think maybe if we saw that from like Eze, but the fact that like, Eze is the talisman, he's the heartbeat of Crystal Palace. Foden's not really that in the sense. It's exactly like you talked about, right? With the rotation and all of that. There's always drama going on with Pep. Like, I don't want to be sweating over team sheets for like my first, second, or third pick in that sense. Like, I would hate to be doing that.
And they play late so often.
Yeah.
This is the thing that I always have this thing where I look at when people are playing, when teams are playing.
Yeah.
Because, I've been playing draft for my home league, so our 10th season.
Yeah.
And you realize after a while it's luck. And then early on, I kind of realized, actually, what can I control? I can't control what the players do on the pitch.
Yeah.
But I can control how many players I put on the pitch.
Yeah.
I can make sure I'm not stuck and only play 10. So I always look at when the lineups are. And Liverpool players and Man City players, they play last often. And so you kind of go, it's a risk. It's always a risk. You're going to need a cuff, but he doesn't have a natural cuff. You've got to need some sort of backup.
Yeah.
And you touched on lots of good points there. Regression to the mean. Right?
Yeah.
I always think about regression to the mean, his overall performance, but based on his XG. And Pep does different things every season.
Yeah.
I remember picking up Mahrez once in round 6 or 7 because he smashes it one season. The next season, Pep doesn't play him.
Yeah.
And then I picked him up around 6 and he smashed it again. Everyone's like, and I won the league. And I was like, oh my God, because I picked up Mahrez in round 6. It's fluked.
Yeah.
You just don't know who Pep's favourites are going to be. And I think he's not so, he was so reliant on just those bangers and those goals. And if I think about Foden versus Saka, I think of Foden is like a icing on the cake type player to me, right? When the team's doing well, he can just, he can really, really make it shine with just some extra pop. Saka to me is the cake, right?
Yeah.
Saka is the one, when the team struggles, he's the one who will turn it around.
Yeah.
If this was happening, Saka was at Man City, he would be the one who'd be trying to turn it around. Everyone would be looking to him. Everyone would be giving the ball.
Yeah.
Foden disappears. Where was he at Anfield? Disappears. During Euros, the same thing. When England was struggling, everyone make excuses for Foden to go, oh, he's playing the wrong position, he's not getting service, not getting this. Well, Saka's the one demanding the ball. Saka's the one trying to take his man on, trying to do something with it. So he's not in the same level as Saka. Saka in Fantrax and in real life is a completely different player. So Foden is the one I think his personality type is in the same to kind of take the game by the scruff of the neck. So there's lots of worries about Foden for me. I think perfect round 2 pick. Perfect round 2 pick. He will never fall to round 2.
Yeah.
So you'll never get him. So I just kind of go, well, I'm happy not to go with it.
Yeah.
I don't need the stress.
Fair enough. Do you want to take our next question?
Okay. The Aguero moment or the Deeney moment, which was better? This is from
I mean,
Nauru again.
yeah, everyone I think will just naturally gravitate towards the Aguero moment. And listen, it was a fantastic moment as well to watch it live. I remember I had like the United stream up at the same time with the City stream. I never saw the Dini one live, but you know what? Just for the sake of being different, I think I'm just gonna give it to the Dini one from one end to the next, like the pen save and then scoring to get it the promotion or whatever, right?
It was the playoff semi-final.
Yeah. So yeah, listen, that was absolute scenes, man. Like I get it, like Premier League title, that is also equally important, but we gotta give props to Dini, man. That what a moment.
I agree with you. I think if the key word in the question is moment, then it's Dini because of the penalty like 10 seconds before that got saved.
Yeah.
The swing of emotion was huge, absolutely huge. But you don't have an Aguero one. Aguero one, you have tension, and the goal happens.
Yeah.
Here for Dini one, you've got, kind of just head in the hands the other way. Well, elation because the penalty's been given. Then, oh my God, and it's been saved. And so it's all over the place. So as a moment, Dini's one is better. But the legacy of the Aguero one, that's their first title.
Yeah.
And the dynasty that's happened, there's 115 reasons why Man City have been brilliant since then. 115 reasons why the Aguero moment wins out. But yeah, it's what it meant overall. I think the Aguero wins out, but in that moment, I think the one is better.
Yeah, agreed. All right. Next question is from Hazard FC. So this is Prash. He feels that managers that drafted from the number 7 to number 12 position on draft day have gotten the lowest value from round 1, round 2 players so far this season. Discuss.
Okay. So in our thing, I've posted the top 24 based on ADP.
Yeah, I saw that. Right, yeah.
So
by the way, you've done more work than Ryan has ever done for a pod, by the way. Just shout out. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, say what you're saying.
So we've got 7 to 12 on ADPs: Ollie Watkins, Odegaard, KDB, Son, Isaac, and Eze. And this is an interesting one. I think the reason is 7 to 12 is always a struggle.
Yeah.
I don't think there's any particular problem this year. And I was, we saw this question. I thought, well, why is that? Actually, it's because we've got 12 players in round 1, and that's quite arbitrary.
Yeah.
Right? You're just going from players from 1 to 12 are grouped together in round 1.
Yeah.
But actually, the better way to think of it is tiers. And there's kind of 4 players, 5, every year who are the elite. So you get your Saka, Palmer, and so on, the elite. Then you've got a massive tier underneath. So actually, I think the problem becomes we are picking players like Watkins, Odegaard, and comparing them to other round 1 picks and hoping they're like the standard of Saka and Salah. But they're never going to be. They're actually closer to the people you pick in early round 2.
Yeah.
The difference between Odegaard and Havertz isn't that big, even though their positional difference in terms of ADP is going to be quite large. So I don't think it's a particular problem this year. But having said that, there are a few players that are worried. Foden, who's 6, so he's just on that cusp. We've talked about him. He's a big worry.
Yeah.
Watkins for me is a worry.
Yeah.
He's just not really kind of doing it. KDB is, if you took KDB in 9, then
what you're expecting with that.
But it's also that's a massive risk you've taken. We've seen it. He's getting leggy. He's taking ages to get over injuries, and he's picking up a lot of injuries.
Yeah.
And he's probably picking up injuries because his body's not recovering from the previous injury very well. And that stuff doesn't get better. That's age just catching up with you.
Yeah.
So that's a risk you took. You took it because you're hoping he gets you 10, 15 games and scores 20 points in those games. So you just have to write it out. I think it's a problem that we always have because of bigger problem because of the expectations we place on them. Even though there are a couple in there who have been really bad.
Yeah, and the thing is I feel like it's still maybe slightly too early to judge when we pick these players, etc. like that. Because I feel like, for example, the Aston Villa players, maybe they still haven't come to terms with their European involvement. Maybe they need a bit more time before they actually get things going in the league as well. Same thing with Newcastle as well, right? We thought, okay, no European football, they're going to absolutely smash it. But I don't know, like Eddie Howe's kind of struggled to get that team gelled and whatnot. And then I mean, other players that maybe we wouldn't have fathomed performing, the likes of like, Nathan Collins, or maybe Munoz being this good and this consistent without Elise. Chris Wood, for example, as well, being a top 20 player overall at the moment.
Cunha's top 5 at the moment.
Yeah, there you go, right?
You're picking him up round 3, round 4 easily.
Yeah, exactly, right. But that's the thing, is like, do we then temper expectations next season, right? Where I feel like a lot of managers as well, they kind of like to draft based on name value or club association versus, the actual talisman for a club. So like that's why I would have gone, Eze before Foden, because I know Eze is going to be responsible for most things, or a lot of the play is going to go through him, so he's going to score points. Sure, he's going to play for a team that's possibly struggling for relegation like they are this season, but he's going to pay off in the end. So it's the same thing like with Cunha as well. Like, why are we not going Cunha instead of like a Kai Havertz or something like that?
Yeah, and I guess, for those of us who are a bit more kind of engaged, I suppose, and we get in the mock draft season, there's a thing with mock drafts which I think is quite interesting, the psychology of it. We do mock drafts and then we share our rosters afterwards and go, have a look, what do you all think? And we rate each other and go, oh, that looks really good. And I think that gets you into mindset when you do your draft. You're drafting for your squad to look good as opposed to be good. And for instance, a couple of weeks ago, I had Romeo Lavia in my squad. And the only reason I had him because he played last. I think Chelsea were playing last and I needed him. So he's my backup. He's my backup to go. If anything else happens, I can just flex during the weekend. But, imagine you do a mock draft and you show Romeo Lavia in your squad. And go, oh my God, why have you picked him? So there's a bit of us, we want to kind of show off to each other to go, oh, it looks good, it looks good. So actually, are you doing it for show, or are you doing it for actually what actually can be effective? And players who, the best assets to have really are players who the play goes through. It's attacking players. Players who are good. So Cunha, Eze, those sort of players, they're going to get 90 minutes on the pitch. Everyone's always looking to give them the ball. So they've got all the KP opportunities, all that sort of stuff. So I agree.
Awesome. So I think we'll move on to the next question. Is it your turn to ask, I think?
Yes. So we've got Sweetness McBossman. Brilliant name.
I love that username. Absolutely love that. Name. Yeah.
Now this is definitely one for you. I'm very ignorant when it comes to this subject. So if you were to compare EPL fantasy players to a Pokemon, who would you say is which Pokemon and why? For example, Ward-Prowse is Voltorb because he self-destructs all over your fantasy roster.
Man, we need to educate you about the world of Pokemon.
You don't.
But do you even know what Voltorb looks like?
No.
I don't think that his reference has anything to do with their looks or anything like that. I think it's more what the Pokemon does in that universe or whatever, and how it kind of, I guess, correlates in the fantasy universe as well. So I'm trying to, the thing is because you have no idea what Pokemon are or which Pokemon are what or whatever. It's like, I'm just wondering, how the hell do I navigate this now? So
I know one Pokemon I learned about this week, and that's it.
Who is that? Oh, I know which one.
Which one? Go on.
Squirtle.
Squirtle, right? Yeah. So we've got a user in our Discord called Squirtle Did It, and I asked a question to go, who is Squirtle and what did he do? And you jumped on it straight away. Loads of people jumped on it. What are you talking about? How do you not know this? And then my son, who's 6, I asked him, have you ever heard of Squirtle? He goes, yeah, he's a really boring Pokemon. Like, oh, okay. What's he like? He said he's blue and he's got a brown shell. Right. So is that true? I don't know. So I was thinking about this, thinking, okay, well, that's all I know. Really boring, brown and blue, claret and blue. I'm going to go West Ham, who's a really boring West Ham player.
Yeah,
Squirtle is Guido Rodriguez.
Oh, that's hilarious.
Really boring. He's played 11 games. No one knows who he is. He never scores any points. So that's the only Pokemon thing I know.
That is hilarious. So the way I would have actually described Squirtle to you is like, okay, so in the universe of Pokemon, any person that wants to go catch Pokemon or whatever, when you play the game, you're introduced to like the 3 choices you have to pick from. Basically a fire Pokemon, a water Pokemon, or a grass or a leaf Pokemon or whatever. Basically like the elements, right? Of the world or whatever. So Squirtle is supposed to be the water one. So the way I would have looked at it was, if Squirtle, Charmander, and what is the Bulbasaur? I hope people don't like come at me because I don't know my Pokemon. But so he would. Who are like the three basic main Fantrax players that you think of when you think of this game? Like who are the mainstays? It would be like what? Salah,
Saka, Bruno, something like that.
and Bruno. Yeah,
yeah.
exactly, right? So that's why when you mentioned Squirtle, I was like, okay, so maybe it's one of those guys, like like the Palmer or something like that, right? So I'm just wondering because they brought up the conversation as well. I think they're having a conversation about like Matty O'Reilly, and I think Ollie's giving O'Reilly a bit of stick as always. But I'm just trying to think of which Pokemon like would I think of. Okay, give me a player for example, and then maybe I can find a Pokemon.
So who would Salah be? I
So
asked my son this, and he couldn't really answer it this morning.
So okay, for me, like Salah would be Salah's like the ultimate player in the game right now.
Yeah.
So for me, he would be Mewtwo, for example. Mew,
Okay.
I would say he would be Mew because Mew and Mewtwo are basically two of the most powerful Pokemon in like the original universe. Except Mew is like the nice, innocent one that everyone likes, and Mewtwo is like the evil one. So I'd probably give Harlan Mewtwo, if anything.
Okay, right. Okay.
Right? I don't know. For some reason,
Yeah.
he just gives me baddie vibes. Like
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. He's got that kind of Bond villain kind of vibe about him, isn't it?
Exactly. Yeah. All right.
All right. What about?
Oh yeah, go
What
ahead.
about just one more Cunha? So someone who's breakthrough, new but exciting and new. Does that exist in the Pokemon world? I don't know.
Breakthrough and new. Cunha, who would be? I'm trying to think of who would be a great Cunha pick. I mean, there is a wolf Pokemon, so unless we give him that, there's a wolf.
Perfect. Wolf,
right?
Yeah.
I think is Ninetales a wolf Pokemon? I think Ninetales is. Let's go with Ninetales. Sure, let's go with Ninetales. I mean, listen, if you can think of better, just join the Discord. Let us know who you think are some good comparable options. It's just like I don't know how deep I can take this conversation just because of your knowledge of the Pokemon universe, and it's like blind leading the blind slightly.
Yeah, well, and my ask is if Sanji has just been blagging for the last 5 minutes, please let me know. You could be saying anything. I've got no idea.
Exactly. Snorlax, is that a Pokemon? Like. All right. So the next question, perfect timing. It's actually a question for you from Mr. Naru. Is Connor Bradley a better backup right back than Kevin or Kevin Kelleher? Let me not butcher the pronunciation because I know Naru will get up in arms about it. But yeah, is Connor Bradley a better backup right back than Kevin Kelleher is a backup goalkeeper, or is Kevin Kelleher a better backup goalkeeper than Connor Bradley is a backup right back? I have no idea what this guy, how he comes up with this stuff.
There are about 400 different ways that he could have worded that better than he had worded that question. But is Nauru our resident fake Man United fan? He's really a Liverpool fan, as you can tell by asking about Liverpool players. So is Bradley or Kelleher the better backup? I think the serious answer to this, is Kelleher. And the reason I'd say that is actually right now, if Alisson career ended, he could not play again, and we just played with Kelleher, I don't know how much we'd miss it. It's just his levels are so high. I was talking to one of my friends who was sports Liverpool, and he was saying it's not just his ability, it's his kind of personality and mentality. It fits playing for a top club because you have to be able to make 1 or 2 saves in the game when it's really important, like he did when KDB was through 1-on-1 and he made that save. We had
the Mbappe penalty save as well in the Champions League.
Like key moments he can have nothing to do, and key moments he can make saves. So he's got that kind of mentality to play for a top team. Ramsdale, when he was at Arsenal, said he gets bored if he's got nothing to do.
Yeah, that's mental.
But he's a keeper who needs to be busy, so he could look good.
Yeah,
but actually he can't perform at Arsenal. He can't perform at that sort of stuff. So it's not just his ability, his mindset is just perfect. And he could just step in, and it does make me wonder what have Liverpool done. We've got Mohamed Shavili, I don't know how you pronounce it, coming in next summer.
Yeah.
So Kelleher's probably going to leave. I'd be happy. I'd rather keep Kelleher right now. He's done nothing. He's faultless.
Yeah.
And now Bradley's come in, probably better defender than Trent, maybe, and could easily be first choice right back in so many different teams in the Premier League. But if he stepped in, if Trent's career ended today and Bradley stepped in, Trent was going to go to Real Madrid, let's be honest.
Yep.
We would notice a difference. The Trent can just pass the way he can make passes.
Yep.
No one's going to be able to do it. Even at the weekend, Salah's assist for Gap Capo was
the ball over the top.
ball.
The pass before the assist. Yeah,
and there's one before that Trent did. He just kind of faded it. He just curled round, and then Salah was through. Bradley can't do that. No one's going to expect him to do that. So Kelleher is the better backup because there's no real difference between him and Alisson in terms of what they can do. Well, there's a big gap that we're going to miss once Trent goes.
Okay, lovely. I don't think I could add more on top of that. All right, you want to take the next question?
So next is from Matt O'Reilly fan account. He's one of the few people keeping the O'Reilly vibes going in the names, as am I. I think this is Sharp FC. Thoughts on Szoboszlai's recent ghost run? Flat track bully. I mean, it was only Southampton and Man City.
we made this bants earlier as well, right?
Yeah.
But basically, it's because he came up against like two really terrible teams, or out of form teams or whatever. So you know what? I would like to kind of judge him after this Newcastle game as well. Like, I mean, don't get me wrong though. Like, Newcastle are also kind of out of sorts. They're not really clicking, and I keep saying it on the pods. Like, somehow they keep picking up points in the league in the most fraudulent way possible, and like they're not even playing well. Like, it's absolutely baffling to me. But I don't know. I think there's always going to be at least one of your number 8s that goes off in a game. Be it Szoboszlai, be it Curtis, we've already seen with his 30-point haul. I mean, you gave us that question, right? He topped the game week with a score as well. I'm expecting McAllister to show it one game. Elliot as well, when he comes back properly. Like, it wouldn't surprise me if when he gets to start, he goes off in a game as well. So I don't know if it's just, one particular player, but yes, I mean, Sobo did look fantastic versus Man City. So maybe give it another game or two, I think.
Yeah, I agree. It's one to see how it pans out.
Yeah. Cool. All right. Next question comes from Draft Tash, another one of our mods. Currently making dinner and thought I'd jump on the non-Fantrax related question train. Choo-choo! How many cloves of garlic are too many when you're cooking, obviously, Pi?
Okay, so in our house, even one clove of garlic is too many because my wife is allergic to garlic and onions.
Okay.
But if they're cooked through properly, like in a curry where it's cooked through, she's fine. But it's unbelievable the amount of times you go somewhere and just random garlic turns up. Oh, would you like some olives? Yes, please. And there's covered in garlic. Just like people just put garlic in stuff without saying they put garlic in it.
Yeah.
But the one thing she can eat, which is labeled as garlic, is Domino's garlic bread. Right?
Okay.
She can eat that. There's no problem. So that tells us there's no garlic whatsoever in Domino's garlic bread. That's like conclusive proof. But I think generally to answer the question is if when the dish comes out, it smells of garlic.
Yeah.
That's too many. That's too many. Garlic has to be a background flavor. Like, you put it in a curry, you don't taste the garlic, but it's there. You don't put it in a curry, it just tastes a little bit off. Doesn't quite taste right. So you notice it when it's not there, but you shouldn't notice it when it is.
Interesting. So you know how in recipes they always say like 1 to 2 cloves of garlic or 2 to 3. I never follow that. I always go with like my gut instinct when I'm cooking. I'm just like, yeah, this seems like it's enough garlic. Like, and I mean, usually the food turns out great. So I mean, who am I to question my method?
Right. So there are two types of cooks. There are ones who read a recipe, and the recipe is just a guide. It's vibes, man.
Yeah.
I'm gonna do what I want.
Yeah.
With me, I follow the recipe.
Yeah.
I'm like, no, that's it. 1.5. Oh shit, I put 2. What am I gonna do?
That's just like my brother-in-law. My brother-in-law is the exact same way. He's like, nope, I've got to follow it to a T. Like, I don't know, man. I'm all about vibes when it comes to cooking. Yeah. All right. You want to take our next question?
The next 3 are all aimed at me. Right,
oh well, so... you know what? Let me ask them. Let me direct them at you then. All right. So next one is from Andrew. He's asking, how do you feel about our recent run of Liverpool greatness in the past 10 games? 8 games won, 1 draw, 1 loss. Have we played anyone good yet? So the run that he's talking about. So as far back from starting from the Nottingham Forest loss, Then you beat Bournemouth 3-0. You beat Wolves 2-1. You beat Palace 1-0. You beat Chelsea 2-1. You drew with Arsenal 2-all. You beat Brighton 2-1. You beat Villa 2-0. You beat Southampton 3-2. And then most recent victory was the 2-0 win versus Man City. He's said as well, the image does not include beating Madrid or other Brighton win in the same week as the other Brighton win, which I'm assuming is some cup game.
Yeah, the EFL Cup. It also doesn't include beating Leipzig, and it also doesn't include beating Leverkusen 4-0 at Anfield. So
that's a lot of wins.
There's a lot of wins. I don't know which one should I talk about. We haven't got enough time. There's too many wins. But I can get what he's getting at. A couple of months ago, people were saying, "Oh, you've done well, but you haven't played anyone good yet." And then, everyone you play's got injury crisis. We played Arsenal, and did you see what Virgil van Dijk did in the interview afterwards when there's 2-2 draw and said, "Oh, you played Arsenal, but they've got an injury crisis." And the look on his face was, "Injury crisis? They've got 2 players injured."
Yeah.
Our first choice goalie and our first choice centre forward is injured. It's like everyone gets injured. You can't go, "Oh, we're allowed to lose because we've got an injury crisis." Like that's how you win championships. You have a squad that gets you through these things. So yeah, I think what Andrew's alluding to is that we perhaps haven't been given enough credit for the run. There's an excuse why Liverpool have done well, and I kind of get that. As a Liverpool fan, you don't want to admit that we are. It's the hope that kills you. You don't want to admit that actually this could be a title challenge. And I in my head was like, no, we're just gonna. If we get Champions League, we're fine. This is Arsenal and City. And then when Man City lost to Spurs, in my head I thought, okay, we're in the title challenge. But I'm not going to say it. I'm not going to say it out loud because I still got credibility to go. No, Man City. We might be 8 points ahead of them, but they beat us twice.
Yeah,
that comes down to nothing. It's nothing. But now we've beaten them. We're 11 points clear. It's like, okay, not only in my head, but I can't say to people, "Look, we're not in a title challenge." Yeah. Just look like I'm talking nonsense. So, yeah, I think the credit's got to be there, but there's a long way to go. But yeah,
definitely, yeah.
So looking good. Beating the German champions, English champions, European champions. Who do you want us to play? Who do you want us to play next?
There you go. Love it. All right, next question is from Matt O'Reilly, fan account Sharp again, asking Pi, what's your favorite Liverpool kit ever? Do you own it? How many do you own, and which?
Right, my favorite Liverpool kit ever. So I'm a little bit older, a lot older than most people.
Yeah.
I get those, hence not knowing anything about Pokemon. My favorite kit is the grey silver kit from about '89.
Okay.
Red candy, it had like these little grey silver flecks on it. It's the Barnes, Beardsley, Aldridge, Rush, Ray Houghton era.
Yeah.
I absolutely love it. I do have it, and I got it in a weird way. I gave a car to my friend's brother years and years ago.
Yeah.
It's not what it sounds. The car was probably worth like 200 quid or something.
Yeah.
And it was, the door wouldn't close and all this sort of stuff. And I thought, I just can't be bothered to get it fixed. So I gave it to my friend's brother, and then he fixed it up and he drove it, and he bought me that kit as a thank you.
Love that.
So I've got that kit. And I've got all of the European Cup / Champions League winning kits. So I've got 6 of those. Got that one, and I've got this old school kind of like Shankly style one with a round neck.
Okay.
Like 60s with just a badge. It's just red with a badge, and it's really
yeah.
So that makes 8 I've got in total Liverpool kits. But I've probably got 30, 40, 50 football kits. I did this thing for a while when we would go on holiday, me and my wife, but she wasn't my wife at the time, but we'd go on holiday. I would go buy a football kit from that place we were staying at. I'd go on this thing to try, I just have to go shopping wherever we go to buy a football kit as a little kind of memento of the holiday. And it got to the point I thought, this is getting stupid now. I can't keep buying kits every single time. And so when my son was born, I stopped doing it. So that became a nice little thing to go, this is a thing I did before he was born. I've got them stored away somewhere. So I've probably got, I don't know, I haven't counted them. I should dig them out. I've got, close to 50 kits, I'd say.
I was going to ask you if your wife allowed you to have your own walk-in closet just for Liverpool kits.
No, they're packed away. I keep in fact, there is another one I've got as well. I just keep them out. But my son has got a couple of Liverpool kits.
So is he a Liverpool fan then?
Depends on when you catch him, right? Depends on when you catch him.
The sign that you started with is just like,
did I do a sign?
Yeah, a little bit. You're like, the disappointment. How do I start? Like,
he's generally a Liverpool fan, but he's also really cheeky. He's really cheeky. So quite often he will support whoever Liverpool are playing.
Yeah.
He'll say that and he'll look at me just to get a reaction from me. So yeah, he's a Liverpool fan who likes to wind up his dad. Is what I'd say.
Oh, he would fit in great with the banter boys. He loves a bit of banter.
Yeah. He would. Yeah, I mean, when he takes over my account, it'd be like, you know, he's going to improve all of it. Better at banter, better at everything. It'll be fine. Know more about Pokemon. It'd be like,
All right, and I think this is our final question. It's from Hazardous Sea Prash as well. So he has never seen someone that knows the value of pi beyond 3.14. Seeing how many numbers beyond decimal, you know, did you have a passion for numbers / mathematics growing up?
So I think once I took on the moniker of pi, it kind of meant something different. And, you know, in our Super League where we can only have 11 players, my team name is pi to 11 decimal places. I don't know if anyone's actually spotted that, but yeah. So I think if you'd asked me a couple of years ago, I would have said, I know it's 3.14159, and that's as far as I know.
Yeah.
Did I have a passion for numbers, maths growing up? I was good. I was good at maths. I really enjoyed it. I think my homework every week, the thing I look forward to most out of all of it was we'd have our maths homework, and it'd always be on 2 pages. You've got to get through all of these questions, and at the last question was always some sort of puzzle.
Yeah.
You know, a boy falls down a well, and he can climb up, then he falls down again, climbs up, and you've got to work it out. Like some sort of thing. And I really used to look forward to finishing. I used to save that for last. Is do all my other homework, get through all of it. The rest of it's a chore, just so I can get the puzzle of the week and try and get it. So yeah, that kind of puzzly stuff I've always enjoyed. And then I did maths and stats at A level. I loved the stats side. The pure maths started getting to a point where it was like, now you're just making shit up. When I got introduced to imaginary numbers, it's like, oh my god, why are you doing that? That is crazy. And then, like Ryan, I did a actuarial science degree. I did 1 year of it, and it was basically a pure maths degree in the first year with some actuary modules. And the pure maths got to a point I was struggling with it, so I dropped it and did something else. And at that point, I wouldn't say I loved maths, but since then, since I've grown up, I've loved maths. So I follow loads of podcasts. Number File is one of my favorite podcasts I watch, and one of my favorite books is Fermat's Last Theorem, talking about how he solved it. So I'm really into maths as a grown up, more so than I was. Like the passion of maths, I really like. More so than when I was a child. So yeah, so pi is a little bit appropriate, not only because it's my name, Draft Pi, because it takes a couple of initials from my son. Also, I do like numbers and I'm a little bit geeky. So yeah, it kind of fits.
Love that. Man, I learned so much about you through these questions. I love this. All right. Those are the questions, and that is the pod. Pi, it was a blast chatting with you, bro. How'd you enjoy the appearance?
Yeah, it was great. It was great. Yeah, like I said, I'm on a high. 5 wins, Liverpool won. So we'll see. I'm buzzing. It's been easy. I've been like smiling, talking through, but joking aside, like, you know, yeah, thank you for having me on. I think it's been great.
Yeah, I mean, it's a pleasure. Like I said, I told Naru as well when he was on the pod. I mean, special shout out to you boys. You don't understand how much of a massive help it is. Not just running things, but even, you know, having a bit of a sounding board, you know, in Fantrax, outside of Fantrax, being able to talk to you lads about literally anything, having the opportunity to finally meet up in person, share a meal, and, you know, we're talking about possible plans in the future as well, possible meetups. So I mean, that's the reason I kind of love playing this game and being part of this community, right? Just meeting amazing people. And yeah, I can't thank you enough for the amount of time and energy that you spend putting up with us. So
no, you're welcome. You're welcome. Thank you for saying it all up. And I think, you know, the without wishing to suck up to you, I think the ethos and the way people interact on the Banter Boys server and channels and so on is a testament to yourself and Ryan. In terms of what you set up and how you want people to go, we will try to follow your example. So yeah.
Cheers, man. Thank you so much. Truly appreciate it. All right, guys. Let me sign off before I shed a tear on cam. But yeah, we should be back. I think we're gonna record Thursday night. It should be episode 250 with Andrew. My God, that's gonna be a mess because I'm going to the Brighton Fulham game and I'm most likely going to be drinking. Jeez. It's gonna be a doozy though, regardless. So
it's gonna be amazing.
Yeah. All gas, literally no breaks. But yeah, listeners, so we will catch you on the next one. Until next time, peace.